Game week 12 in FPL is almost upon us. And this week, Mark Donaldson is bringing us an under the radar 11. So how are we actually defining under the radar, Mark?
Okay, let's go with those that are owned by less than 10% of managers, because you've got your guys like Salah and others that most people have got. The differentials are how you make your moves if they do well. So hopefully I can pick one or two from the following team this week.
Fair enough. Like it. Okay, so let's start with who you're going to have between the sticks and who's lining up in defence then.
Well, with Robert Sanchez suspended, there is the opportunity perhaps to go cheap with Steele at Brighton, but I'm going to go with Alex McCarthy of Southampton. He's the second highest point-scoring goalkeeper this season, and Southampton at Norwich. Look, this could be a trap because Norwich, fighting for their lives, they used to be the ones anyone who's playing Norwich put them in. But it could be a trap, but that could mean some saves, and you get points for every 3 saves. So Alex McCarthy in goals. I'm going to go with 3 at the back. I'm going to go with Emerson Royal of Spurs. Now, he was signed from Barcelona. He's played 90 minutes in every game since then, except one, North London Derby, when he came off the bench. And he's the first choice right back or right wing back in a 3-5-2. So I like him. Spurs are at home to Leeds, who've got 1 or 2 defensive and injury issues. Matt Ritchie's an interesting one for me, Kay, at Newcastle, because they've been another side that we've targeted this season because they've not kept many clean sheets, but they've got a new manager in Eddie Howe, and I think he'll try and keep things tight at the back. And if he does play with wing backs, Matt Ritchie, who's on a lot of the set plays as well, he's only owned by 0.2% of managers. I really like his chances, and of course the fixture's a good one for Newcastle this week against Brentford. My other defender this week is Kyle Walker. Now, you can or you can't. He's costly. He's part of a Man City side that Pep rotates quite a bit. But defensively, it looks like it's João Cancelo on one side and Kyle Walker on the other. They seem pretty settled as the fullbacks, and Kyle Walker's only owned by 6.6% of managers. So there's your goalkeeper and your back 3 for this team.
I like it. Okay, so let's talk about the men in the middle that are not always so desirable, but in this edition, they are more desirable. Tell us who you've got.
Yeah, I'm going to keep my best pick of the week for last. He's a midfielder, and I'm going to tease that a little bit. So the other 4 that I've got, Jared Bowen seems to be the kind of not unsung hero at West Ham, but I think he's returned in 6 of his last 7 in the Premier League, either an assist or a goal. And Said Ben Rama's had a lot of the press, obviously Mikel Antonio up front, Thomas Souček as well in midfield, but Jared Bowen is only owned by 2.2%. So I like him. I like Wilfried Zaha as well, just 7.5% of managers. For me, he's their talisman. And on any given day, he could just go off. And Palace this week are at Burnley. Callum Hudson-Odoi, only 0.7% owned. There is the risk. He may not start. However, he started the last 3 for Chelsea, and I think Thomas Tuchel likes what Callum Hudson-Odoi brings to his starting 11. The other one is Sadio Mane, only 3.9% owned. I don't think that's going to go up much because he picked up a rib injury on international duty, didn't play in their second game, but I think that was just precautionary. We've seen him back in training for Liverpool, and I think that Sadio Mane could be, especially with Roberto Firmino injured, he could be someone with everyone's attention on Salah. I wouldn't say go Mane over Salah. I'd say get them both if you fancy a big differential at just 3.9%. Now, here's my big one for the weekend. This could blow up in my face, but I've backed this. I have already brought this player into my side. Maxwell Cornet of Burnley against Crystal Palace. He was away playing on international duty with the Ivory Coast. Didn't go too well for him in midweek against Cameroon. He's second in the form table of any midfielder, only behind Mohamed Salah. He's only 1.3% owned, and Burnley are at home to Crystal Palace. I just love the way that he plays. He gets in advanced positions. He's very creative. He's a star, and he's also very under the radar. So Max Cornet of Burnley is my pick of the week.
Okay, so who are your under the radar strikers that you're hoping will get some goals this weekend?
Well, originally I had 3 of them until it was pointed out by our staff at ESPN FC that you can't really have a 3-5-3 because that's illegal.
No, even I missed that. I'm sorry, Mark.
Yeah, your Borough team, my Hearts team. I'm sure we would love to play.
It would be great, to have an extra player on the pitch, of course.
It would be, but we haven't been allowed it. So Josh King has had to make way. So apologies to Josh King. So the two players that I have up front, I've gone for Harry Kane because he's only owned at the time of recording at 7.9% of managers. Now, a lot of people are saying, do we go Son? Do we go Harry Kane? Again, why not double up? Spurs have got a really good run of fixtures at home to Leeds, back-to-back first-half hat-tricks for his country. That number is only going to go up. It probably has gone up by the time you watch this, from the time we recorded. He's not cheap, Harry Kane, but what a differential he could be with Spurs' run of fixtures coming up. New boss as well, Antonio Conte. People may look at that and say, oh, he's a bit of a defensive coach. I'm not sure how. Look, Kane's a wonderful player. If Kane can focus on the football and not his future, that could be a right bargain. And my final striker is Callum Wilson, because he's only owned by 2.3% of managers. And I'm really looking forward to seeing him for Newcastle with Eddie Howe again as his manager. The pair of them did really well at Bournemouth together. And I think Callum Wilson, we've mentioned Matt Ritchie already, I think Wilson will be one of the main beneficiaries. And to be owned by only 2.3% of managers, especially with a home game coming up against Brentford, where there might be goals in that one, I think Callum Wilson could be someone this weekend who could pay dividends for you. I think this is a pretty good side. Obviously, you're not going to be in a wild card and pick this side or anything like that. But if there are one or two that you like, they're all owned by under 10% of managers. So if they do well, then I think you will as well. So that's what I've got this week, Kate.
Yeah, and those players might just give you that extra advantage over your opponent. So they're under the radar, but they might just get you some extra points on the board. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.